This is the 2025 Ford F-150 Lightning Flash, and it's just not another EV pickup. It's the first one that might actually get people from gas into electric with all its savings, surprisingly incredible power at 580 horsepower and 776 pound-feet of torque. That gives you 0 to 60 miles per hour in under 4 seconds. But this has a refined interior. This might be very well the best model you can get, being about $10,000 to $12,000 more than the XLT, but it does have the 123 kilowatt per hour battery. It used to be a 131, now it's a 123, but it's still getting 300 miles of range. So this might be the best Lightning yet with the right price and the right tech equipment. So we're going to be jumping into the interior, showing you all the tech interior, what you have, such as Blue Cruise, the adaptive cruise control, what you don't have compared to other models, to help figure out if this is absolutely the best balanced Lightning yet at the right price that is going to get people to go from gas to electric. Yes, it has 123 kilowatt per hour battery now for 2025, but it still has 300 miles of range. That's actually pretty great. And we're going to put that to the test and do roughly about 300 miles with this truck while we have it for the week. Now, the Flash model does come standard with running boards, vinyl or vegan leather interior, no panoramic roof like the Lariat, and no automatic tailgate like the Lariat, but it does come in at a whole lot less than the Lariat model. So this is manual. Mind you, the tailgate is aluminum, so not all that heavy. All Lightnings come with a 5.5 foot box, so that might be a limitation to getting some of those gas truck owners into buying it. I think a 6.5 foot box would really help. All the Lightnings, XLT and up, have the sensors in the front, the back. You've got an electric seat for the driver. Now let's jump inside the vehicle to talk about whether you should buy or lease this vehicle, whether it's right priced. We'll talk about some of the downsides, such as depreciation. So big giveaway. It is better to lease, and I'm going to explain why. So let's jump in, check out all the tech, check out the comfort. And in part 2 of this video, we will be going for a proper test drive. In the meantime, if you could just do me one huge favor, hit that like button, the little thumbs up. That really helps the family business grow and get out to a bigger audience. So let's jump in. Now, while the tailgate may be manual, you have to go up to a Lariat or higher, Lariat or Platinum. We do have on all the F-150s this great space for shopping. This can be used as a cooler. That's a drain plug. Very strong hooks. You can power your house with this during a power outage. And these top, however, hooks, don't try to put weight on them. These top hooks are actually very, very weak. And we do have the power hood in the front. You got your sensors down here. And there we go. We got the full light bar across, unlike the Pro model. So I think the Flash so far is looking like the sweet spot to me. No optional roof, but this does come with the 123 kilowatt battery. And that means 300 miles of range. So let's jump in and check it out. We all know electric trucks and electric vehicles are dead quiet when you drive them. But outside noise, do they cut out outside noise properly? Well, this is the F-150 Lightning Flash, and in particular, is it quiet enough on the inside to really give a luxurious, comfortable ride? So let's go check it out. You can probably guess what we're up to here. So let's just jump in, drop in the comments if you know what we're up to here. But you can see the gear back there. I love the F-150 Tremor because you can lift this seat up and you've got a little drawer that you can tuck and hide things away on. But let's jump right inside the vehicle and see keyless entry. Nice, I don't have to play around with the keys. So if you got the keys on you, you get in the truck, you start the truck, push button, and the F-150 Lightning has been a pretty impressive vehicle in regards to drive comfort. But outside, can we take these off? I think it's actually, yeah, it's quieter inside the truck with no earmuffs than just outside the truck with these noise canceling earmuffs. They cancel out 23 decibels, and we're definitely getting less noise in here. So I'd say it's cutting out 30 to 40 decibels. It's actually a really well made truck. The sound deadening on this is incredible. Now, it's on not all positives for the F-150 Lightning, and we are, you know, in a good position, taking off the safety eye protection. We're in a good position to judge because we have a 2025 Ford F-150 Tremor, gas with the 3.5 liter EcoBoost, the 500 pound-feet of torque, 400 horsepower. We also had a 2024, and we've owned a lot of trucks over the years, and we've test driven a ton. Many handfuls, many handfuls of trucks, dozens and dozens, if not hundreds, because while we've been doing this for, this is my 13th year, taking vehicles in on trade, taking them out for a test drive to really be able to compare, taking them on racetracks and little like mock racetracks with pylons, going over bumps and a bit of everything, taking them into the bendies real quick. And the handling on the Lightning, you'd be surprised, because the weight of this vehicle is all at the bottom. It's incredible. The batteries are underneath. It's in the platform, in the base of the vehicle. It makes for a very low center of gravity. So this handles better than any truck you will ever drive. Now, there's a lot of reasons to consider an F-150 Lightning, the electric version. I know, I'm sold gas. I like it when I start it up and I hear the engine. But what's pretty interesting is when you're on the road, you hear next to nothing. This is a very luxurious and comfortable vehicle because of the incredible sound deadening that this vehicle has. The doors are really thick. They're really well padded with recycled blue jeans. I'm liking the material here. The flash, it might not be a Lariat, but it feels a whole lot like the Lariat because we've got the vinyl interior, which is recycled plastic. I like to call it vegan leather, really. And you've got the big touch screen. I'm going to show this to you. Let's turn the camera around. Start up the truck. You've got this big 15-inch or 15.2-inch touchscreen. Find it a little harder to find stuff in here than the 12. I actually really like the 12-inch screen. So if you're looking at an XLT, I actually find XLT as interesting as this model with the 12-inch, but I do really like the seats. And of course, the Flash is the model, this first model, that you're gonna have access to that big battery. So you've got the full 131 kilowatt battery. It's now gonna be a little smaller moving forward. We'll get into battery sizes written at the bottom of the screen here. But this truck is being really good to us. We drove it quite a bit, so the mileage that's on that is pretty much all our mileage because we've had this for a week now. Screen, very useful, very good at predicting how many kilometers you're gonna be getting, and also you can always go to trip, and under trip you can find out how many kilowatt hour you're using, and that way you'll know how many hours you can drive the vehicle. So if you've got a full charge on a 130 watt battery, well, you've got about 4 hours of driving at 30 kilowatts per hour. You drive for 4 hours, you're at 120 kilowatts, you'll have 10 kilowatts left. Then it's absolutely time to plug in and get a recharge. You don't want to try to fast charge these when it's under 10% because it's very slow to get to 15%. So really do try to charge them up before they get there. I love the adaptive cruise control. Blue Cruise, the self-driving, was working pretty good, but not perfectly in the rain. But on a nice day when it's not heavy rain and where the truck can actually detect the painted lines. So the lines do need to be painted on the highway, but it's been very, very good to us on the highway. And I've had trouble, my Lightning Lariat, with the roof. No roof available on the Flash, no roof on the XLT. If you want a roof, you're gonna have to go to Lariat. There's no longer two Lariats, a normal battery and a big battery. It's just the XLT standard range battery. Flash, big battery, different interior, and a few differences. In the Lariat, well, one of the big differences, people who want a roof will have to get a Lariat, but the cabin is always the same. There's always a ton of space back there. Yesterday, daughter was very happy. They're all shift console, so shifter in the console. There is no Lightning with the shifter here like we have on the gas models. And there are definitely some differences that I've noticed with a gas powered. And I'm going to be talking, when I do a full review on the Flash, I'm going to be talking why you should actually consider a Lightning beyond just fuel savings. And I know some areas the electricity is quite a bit more expensive. Of course, Quebec, Canada, with Hydro-Quebec, the electricity is about 8 cents a kilowatt. So really inexpensive to charge from home. It's going to cost you a tenth of what the fuel costs me for my area. Now, the fuel is a little expensive here, not quite as bad as California, let's say, but it is expensive. But absolutely getting a good amount of fuel economy when I can charge up for a tenth of the price that I would, you know, fill up. It takes longer. You got to remember to charge it at night. You need a charger you need a charger installed at your home. You can't just go with a regular 110 volt mobile charger, because you're going to get it's going to take like 70 hours or more to charge up the vehicle. You're going to get about 5 kilometers per hour back of charging. 5 kilometers is like 2.5, 3 miles. So for every hour you charge it, you'd only get 3 miles back. But I've got a charger at home, and it takes us about, if we had it on full, which we could not, we have an 80 amp charger, we have to run it at 40. It takes about 16 hours to get a full charge, 16 to 18 hours. However, if we did have it running at the 80 amp, a full charge would take us roughly 10.5 or 11 hours. Now, the comfort when driving, I actually find the Tremor with its off-road suspension a little more comfortable. It's not nearly as good as in the bendies. This is incredible in the bendies. It takes a turn and it's so solid. It's very well balanced, and there's no body roll essentially. There's a bit of body roll on the Tremor, but it is better at taking the bumps because, well, it's made to take bumps and jumps. And of course, on horrible roads, the suspension on this makes a little bit more noise than it does on the Tremor. So let's go take a ride in this and see how it does. In the meantime, I ask one favor of you all. I'm Johnny from Johnny's Car Care and Reviews. Please help this family business out. The only thing that I ask, a little favor that I'm asking, hit the like button. And if you can, that's the one favor I ask. But if you can, go over the top and drop us a comment of what you're currently driving. Let us know what you're driving and how it's been for you. My Lightning had been perfect, the one that we own, the Lariat 131 kilowatt battery, but the Blue Cruise on that was troublesome until the camera and sensors got changed. And then, well, I'd already made my agreement to sell it. I shook on it, so I lived with it. It cost about $37,000 to drive for 15 months, but a lot of that depreciation was due to the fact that all the electric manufacturers on their electric models drop their prices by $10,000 or more. So you're still going to be hit with depreciation if you buy an electric vehicle, an electric truck, and the depreciation is going to be it's going to be much greater than if you buy a gas F-150. Gas F-150s, like the 3.5 liter EcoBoost that we have with 400 horsepower and 500 pound-feet of torque, is it's on the top 10 list for vehicles that depreciate the least. If you like changing every 2 or 3 years, it's an incredible vehicle to get. Get a gas-powered F-150 if you like changing every 2-3 years and don't want to be overly penalized by depreciation. This truck, all these electric vehicles, they're the category of vehicle that depreciate the most. So do expect a good amount of depreciation. If you're keeping it 7+ years, then it doesn't really matter. And what's great is these vehicles, Ford has done great things with the batteries. They last a very long time. There's taxis in New York and certain places in California, thousands of taxis, Escapes, that, they're like 2005 Escapes thereabouts, and they're still running on their original battery. So Ford batteries are very reliable. There's one particular owner in the United States that's running his Lightning, and when he got to, after only 1 year or a year and a half, he got to 100,000 miles, had his battery tested, and there was next to no loss on it. So these are great vehicles. Of course, if you want long-lasting battery, the longest lasting battery possible, a little tip and trick: don't fast charge it. The extreme fast chargers, like 350 kilowatts, do it as little as possible. The best thing for longevity of the battery is to charge from home, and if you can, try to usually charge it before it gets below 15% and up to 90%. Now, if I were to get an electric truck again, it's very tempting, but I would definitely lease it, because then you don't have to worry so much about depreciation, because at the end, when it's likely going to be worth thousands of dollars less, because right now with the employee price, these trucks lease for an incredibly good deal. Means if you try to get out of your lease early, you're going to feel some depreciation and it's going to hurt a little. But if you wait to the end, you'll have gotten an incredible monthly payment, because the depreciation is going to be higher than your monthly payment. But if you hold it the whole time of the lease, you'll have had an incredibly comfortable and fun vehicle. And really, as you can tell, the sound deadening on this is incredible. You'll have had that the whole time and you'll be very pleased with it. Just make sure before getting any electric vehicle that you're the type of owner who can keep their vehicle the length of the lease, and do lease over purchase. If anything, you can always buy out your lease at the end if you're in love with your vehicle and want to keep it an extra 5 or 10 years. Now let's get on the road.